I love this topic because when I came across this really opened my eyes to have a bit of a look at how to actually have an identity change and have a little bit of a look at what is identity realistically. And I've always found it's a bit of a space. It's a space for us to retreat into. And that's why I have codependency as phase one and knowing a bit about what codependency does. Codependency just is another word for external. So when we sit on the external all the time, we're actually unaware of what our identity is actually doing, what it's becoming, etc., etc. All I say is, how do I know I have a problem with identity? Is for me, I can only talk about my own experience. I tend to find that I had no connection with what I was doing on the external. So I lost a lot of connection with everything that was going on, and I lost a lot of connection with a lot of relationships. And that's why I talk about relationships being at the forefront of a good identity change, because whatever problems that you see in them is stemming within you. And that's something that is very powerful when we get into personal development. I tend to find is really, really important, and growth. So whatever that you pick on in them is something that stems within you, and it's very powerful. I don't think a lot of people like that. They like blaming other people, but as soon as we start realizing, okay, my shadow needs work, my insecurities need work, we all need something to work on. There's always something to work on. That's why I say purpose is limitless, realistically, because you could be doing professional development, you could be getting into a new career. It's all work. What we contribute into our relationships are really, really important, and that's why identity, I truly believe, comes from I well relationships, and the quality of those relationships are really, really important. So for me, if I have really good, genuine relationships, people that love seeing me do well and have a lot of respect for me when I'm going through rough periods in my life, are people I want to hang around. Those that don't show up for you, that are very insincere, people that like to pretend it's something it's not, is something I don't have time for. I think for me, I'm very, I see through that part of my French, a bullshit radar. That's bullshit, and I don't put up with it. So just really remember, your identity really stems from problems with other people, and being emotionally honest, having a bit of a check in as to what my identity really needs at the moment, and that's coming within and having a bit of a look at, okay, what really matters to me the most is being emotionally honest with myself, having a bit of a look at those characteristics in those people that I really don't like, and having a bit of a look at those characteristics that could stem inside you, and having a bit of a look at that and saying, okay, either I'm going to go through with an identity change or I'm not. I'm going to put up with this. You'll find that life will outgrow them anyway. They won't last. That's one thing that I've definitely learned. Life will always move you on anyways. The relationships that you have with identity and problems with those people and getting out of your comfort zone and all that, they will eventually fade out anyway. That's one thing that I definitely know. So even when you're fighting to hold on to it, it's got to end at some time. So it's really important to have a good sense of identity and come back to a sense that you cannot control the external. That's always changing. People are making their own decisions and choices, even if they have the awareness of it. Whether they do nothing or they do something, the law of cause and effect has that impact on other people. So you just got to keep going. I always say keep moving forward and have a look at that identity that you're holding, that space. What is it happening in that space? And really having a look at some of the characteristics, having a little bit of a look at the non-connection that you have with whatever that life stage they're at, and making sure we're on our path. That's really, really important, because that's what this is all about realistically, is your path to whatever it is that you want to build. And that's really, really important. So identity has a huge part in our life of purpose. And I think a lot of people underestimate the value of identity, the values that sit within identity. Setting your integrity is really, really important, and living in that is really important as well. But having a look at some problems, like if we didn't have problems, how do we know who we're going to become? So that's really, really important. Identity is really, really important. So it's about learning to get away from the external. And I keep harping on about it because a lot of people don't realize how attached we are to the waking life. And that's really important, to come within. So we're going within when we're creating a new identity and having that identity change.